This is a sensitive and controversial topic, but I think it has to be talked about. Tsnius.
Warning, warning. This is not meant for those that are comfortable dressing modestly and following modern guidelines. This is not meant for those that want to push themselves to dress more spiritually.
This is meant for those who want to know what either the hierarchy of halacha is, or they're struggling with this and they want to know exactly what the boundaries are for Torah and Mishnah law, or if they think that not dressing a certain way makes them not religious and therefore they shouldn't even try. This is for you. So let's talk about the hierarchy of halacha. The Torah does not talk about or codify any sort of dress for a woman, except for that a woman should not wear man's clothes and a man should not wear a woman's clothes. There is a verse that says God walks through your camp and he sanctifies you, and you shouldn't do any naked matter before him. What's interesting is that the Mishnah and the Talmud don't take that verse and codify any sort of dress code, general guidelines. Let's look at the Mishnah and the Talmud. There is a Mishnah, and that says that a woman violates the practices of Jewish women if she goes to the marketplace and weaves. One opinion explaining that is that she goes out and she exposes her arms. Now, it could be very well the other opinions, which is she's dealing with red thread, and that sort of makes her attractive. She has an opportunity to talk to other men. It's not inappropriate for women to do this. Okay. And again, this is talking about only a married woman, not a single woman. And even if we take the strictest opinion that talking about exposing the arms, why? Does it mean that the arms are moving and that's some sort of attraction, or it means she rolls up her sleeves? Is that below the elbow or above the elbow? It's unclear. There's another Talmud that says the best practices of a husband not to allow his wife, again talking about a wife, not a single woman, to go out and have certain behaviors. And one of those behaviors is to have her dress that's split open. Now, it's unclear whether that means split open the top, she's wearing sleeveless, or split open the bottom, and she's exposing her thighs all the way up to her waist. Then there's finally another Gemara that talks about how a man could say Kriya Shema in a clean environment, but he cannot do it in front of a nakedness. That's a man's nakedness or a woman's nakedness. In front of any man that's naked, 12 or older, and he can't do it in front of any woman that's naked or girl that's naked, 11 or older. Then it talks about what parts of a woman might be considered nakedness, even if she actually is dressed. So it says a man's pubic hair, as long as his member doesn't show, it's not a nakedness. A woman's hair shows a tefach. Now, many people say that means the hair on the head, but it was just talking about a man's pubic hair. So a woman's pubic hair would be considered a nakedness if it is shown even a little bit. It also says a woman's thigh would be considered nakedness, and even her voice, even she talks. Then it says an opinion if her hair is uncovered. So therefore, that's the uncovered part of the hair. When it talked about the pubic hair, that said even a man's own wife. Clearly, because even a man's own wife pubic hair, that draws his mind to forbidden places while he's trying to say Shema or use God's name. Therefore, what sums up from this entire Talmud and Mishnah is that the rule is that even taking the strictest opinion, you cannot go sleeveless in the marketplace if you're a married woman. You cannot go with a slit of your skirt all the way to your thighs if you're a married woman. And a man cannot look at a woman in certain circumstances. It's not an obligation on her, especially in shul. She has to dress appropriately. But if she doesn't, she's in the ladies section anyway. And out in the world, that's not her obligation to be the protector of men so that they could pray and say Shema wherever they want. A man could avert his eyes. But even taking all this completely, the bare minimum of Tsnius laws, even from the Mishnah, and even taking all this together, is cap sleeves are good. A skirt that covers mid-thigh when sitting, good. It does not talk anything about low cut, and does not talk anything about midriff exposure. But, of course, not low-rise enough to show any pubic hair. That's the hierarchy of halacha, and that is the discussion. Everything else that was created, this to the elbows, to the knees, the collarbone, doesn't talk about backless either. All that stuff was all made much later in different communities and became custom and on, codified. Any questions, let me know.